It was the first week of Red Dead Online. I remember booting up that first time and being mystified, seeing the beautiful rolling hills, the enormous complex skyboxes, and the inspiring jaw-dropping realism that is Red Dead Online. It had finally been released on the PC, and although I was a little late to the party, I was just happy I'd finally arrived. Before I knew it, I was riding my scrawny nag with hopes of starting my first trading business. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready for an adventure. No, I didn't know how to get 3-star pelts, and my small Honda Civic wagon was underwhelming at most. But it's not about the destination. It's about the journey, right? But out of all the struggle, there was one thing I remember the most. The griefers. At every turn, I was getting piped. And not like the, oh, we're having fun piped. I'm talking a Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne, I'm fighting them off with a broomstick in the supply closet, good old-fashioned shafting. Sometimes I fought them off. I would like to sit here and tell you I fought them off every time, but that just wouldn't be true. They abused me. They drugged me through the streets like an animal. Well, my friends, those days are over. That once weak and newbie player died a long time ago, somewhere in the streets of Blackwater. And like a phoenix from the ashes, I have arisen, one of the most aggro, douchey, level 78 players you will ever meet. I can tussle with the best of them. That being said, sit back, relax, pop open a cold one, and let me fill your ear holes with knowledge that I have perfected after months of having my asshole prolapsed by level 300 chads. So you too can defend yourself and perhaps even go on the offensive in Red Dead Online. What's going on, guys? Recently, iPriest suggested that I make a guide on the current best setup for PvP in free roam. Personally, I have a lot of experience in free roam PvP, whether being bored grieving other players, or players attempting to grieve me, usually failing, well, now. That being said, I will be explaining the best setups for PvP, which will be focusing on maximizing damage and health. The ability cards favor many different playstyles, and in this guide, I will break down my setup, which is incredibly useful for my skill set. Before we get into abilities and the best weapons, many players neglect, myself included, to fully fill their health bars up. With only 80% health, more often than not, a body shot from most rifles will inflict enough damage to kill you in one shot. After doing some research, I found several guides saying that you can increase your in-game health by fishing, getting into fistfights, hunting animals with bows, and skinning animals. Unfortunately, after much trial and error, the only activity I could find to raise my health bar was fishing. Personally, I have avoided fishing like the plague in Red Dead Online, and if I wanted to fish, I would go outside and fish IRL. But as I said before, this is the only activity that would level my character's health up. I assume that many players who will watch this will have not fished in Red Dead Online either, so I will briefly explain it. There are two types of fish, lake fish, river fish. Fuck the river fish, focus on lake fish. Go to the coast near Blackwater and fish there. Get a $20 reel for lake fish that can be purchased in the catalog. Buy a couple hundred lake bait, which are worms, from the catalog also. On your way to the lake, kill an animal, and once you get to the lake, throw the animal in the water. I've heard this makes fish spawn faster. Throw your line near the pockets of fish. Once you feel a fish on the line, reel it in. I fished for several hours and my inventory didn't get full, so don't worry about having to offload them and just grind out fishing until your health bar hits 100. Personally, I still have some ways to go. Once I hit level 9, which was 1500 XP, level 10 was 3000 XP. And frankly, I don't have the time to fish on Red Dead another 6 hours. So for now, I'm content with level 9 health. Moving on. When discussing weapon loadouts, typically there are two engagement ranges, close and far. When it comes to far, if you can manage it, get a sniper rifle. The sniper rifle I recommend is the Carcano rifle. If you're not high enough level, buy the rolling block rifle. The only significant difference is that the Carcano rifle will fire much faster, but they both are typically one-shot kills. After you purchase them, make sure to take them to the gun shop and upgrade them fully. Rifling, sights, scopes, all of it. And don't forget to get the wraps either, because they will make your weapons degrade much slower. Personally, I go for the most magnified scope and I tend to be more accurate. However, go with your preference. The reason why these rifles are so OP in free roam is the map is enormous. Most engagements will be very far away. Typically, once you get good with these weapons, since they have such high damage and range, you can snipe enemy players as they spawn while holding favorable terrain. If you want to go into free roam PvP with a repeater because you can't snipe, it likely won't work out well if your opponent uses a sniper rifle. That being said, you can use the bolt action with painted black ability card and reap the similar results during range combat, being it also has very significant damage at range. Still, you likely won't be getting one-shot kills unless you are banging headshots. As for close range loadouts, I use the semi-auto shotgun. It has incredibly great damage close range, high fire rate, and 1 or 2 shots kill most of the time. Upgrade all the parts and add wraps like for your long range weapons, and you should be ready to go. I would recommend against using pistols at close range, but if you are really good at getting headshots, it becomes more of a viable option. When it comes to ability loadouts, I did a lot of research and comparison on my own, and I'm very confident with the ones I have selected. Again, we are trying to maximize damage and health, but mostly damage, because ideally we want to be one-tapping each opponent. The abilities that I have leveled and found invaluable during free roam are the following. For your Deadeye slot, run Focus Fire. This will allow you to do quote-unquote a lot more damage while Deadeye is active. As an alternative, if you aren't a great shot, you can run Painted Black, but personally, I don't need it. For your first passive perk, run Peak Conditioning. This will also massively boost your damage when your stamina is high, and make your stamina last longer while sprinting. The third perk you want to use is Sharpshooter. This gives you a massive boost in damage while using scoped weapons. The final ability I would recommend for PvP is Landon's Patience. If you are sniping, it will make your first shot pack much more damage. However, it takes 15 seconds of not firing to reactivate, so only run this perk if you intend to make your first shot. Typically, I don't run this perk. I run Cold Blooded, which replenishes health after killing an enemy player. It's up to you though, and it depends on how much you value your health over damage. For leveling these perks, it's very straightforward, and you just have to have them active anytime you receive XP in Red Dead Online. When it comes to gunfight movement and tactics, you typically want to weave back and forth to make it hard for your opponents to hit you, if they decide to snipe as well. I also will often throw random crouches into my movement. In most cases, it is effective to prioritizing taking the high ground, and peeking over the hilltop, get a shot, and then move back repeatedly, minimizing your exposure to enemy shots. If the enemy does move in on you, simply pull out your shotgun, keep an eye on the minimap, and wait to see where he will pop up over the hill. For a few extra tips, the first of which is shoot the player's horse so they can't escape, and it will piss them off. The second tip is have some tonics on standby in case the other player does hit you. That way you can pop one and be fully healed by the time he responds or the two of you re-engage. And for my third extra tip, always use Rifle Express rounds. They have the highest damage per bullet and still have exceptional range. In conclusion, sniping truly is the meta in Red Dead Online free roam. Given how large the map is and how far you spawn from each other during gunfights, if you can master the art of sniping and fully upgrade the ability cards, you will truly become an unstoppable force. You will not ever have to worry about people griefing you or stealing your wagons during trade runs. Anyway guys, like always, thank you so much for all the love I've been getting in the comments. Any and all feedback is excellent feedback. Obviously, you guys in many cases know more than me, and I would love to hear your guys' take on PvP and the perks that you typically use. Also, as I have previously stated, I am taking video requests, and if I like the idea like this one, you will get a video. On a final note, I just want to say thank you so much to Born to Be Wild. He's a super cool dude, and I really appreciate the shout out you gave me, man. Anyway guys, take it easy.